Celery juice has been dismissed as a wellness trend for years. Fitness influencers pushed it. Morning routine videos featured it. And then the hype died down and most people moved on to the next thing. But there is a group of people who never stopped paying attention to celery juice, and that group is people with Sjogren syndrome. Because when you have a disease that is driven by chronic systemic inflammation, oxidative stress, glandular destruction, and an immune system that has completely lost its ability to regulate itself, what celery juice does inside your body is not the same as what it does inside a healthy body. The mechanisms are different. The impact is different. And the results, when you are consistent, are different in ways that matter deeply to the daily quality of life that Sjogren's has been quietly stealing from you. This video is not about wellness trends. This is about understanding what this specific drink does inside a Sjogren's body, organ by organ, system by system, symptom by symptom. And by the time you finish watching, you are going to want to make this part of your morning tomorrow. Before we go into the details, here is how to make it correctly before we go any further, because the method matters. Take one large bunch of fresh celery. Wash it thoroughly. If you have a juicer, run the stalks directly through and drink the juice immediately. If you are using a blender, chop the celery first, blend on high speed until completely smooth, and then strain through a fine mesh strainer or a nut milk bag to separate the juice from the pulp. The juice must be consumed fresh, within 20 minutes of making it, because the active anti-inflammatory compounds, enzymes, and antioxidants begin to degrade rapidly once the cell walls are broken down. Drink it on an empty stomach every single morning before coffee, before food, before anything else, and wait at least 15 minutes before eating. That window is where your body absorbs everything this drink is delivering without anything else interfering. Now let's get into what is actually happening inside you. Hit subscribe and leave a like. That helps this channel reach more people who need it. The goal at Health Insight is 200,000 subscribers, and every single person who joins moves us closer. And if you want the full Sjogren's symptom map guide with visuals, symptom breakdowns, and additional resources, type symptom map in the comments and I'll send you the link to access it. Number 1. What celery juice does to your liver. Most people with Sjogren's have never been told that their liver is under stress. But it is. Here is why. Sjogren's is an autoimmune disease that keeps your immune system in a state of permanent activation. Day and night, your immune system is generating inflammatory proteins, circulating immune complexes, and cellular debris as it wages its continuous attack on your own tissues. Your liver is the primary filtration organ responsible for clearing all of that from your bloodstream. It processes inflammatory byproducts, neutralizes immune complexes, and metabolizes the medications most Sjogren's patients take to manage their symptoms, including hydroxychloroquine, NSAIDs, and corticosteroids. Over months and years of this sustained pressure, the liver begins to accumulate fat and inflammatory deposits that progressively slow its ability to do that job efficiently. When your liver slows down, inflammatory compounds stay in your circulation longer. When those compounds stay in your circulation longer, they reach your tissues, your joints, your nervous system, and your glands, and your Sjogren's symptoms intensify. The connection between liver function and autoimmune symptom severity is real, documented, and almost never discussed in the context of Sjogren's management. Celery juice addresses this directly. It contains alkalizing compounds and a high water content that actively reduce fat accumulation in liver tissue and support the production of the detoxification enzymes your liver needs to process and eliminate inflammatory residue efficiently. It also contains a natural antioxidant compound called pyrroloquinoline quin-1, commonly known as PQQ, which has been identified in research as a protective agent against non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. For a Sjogren's body whose liver has been quietly struggling under the weight of a chronic autoimmune response, this liver support is not a bonus benefit. It is the foundation that everything else in this list builds on. A liver that is working properly clears inflammatory compounds faster, processes medications more effectively, and creates a metabolic environment where your whole body functions better. That one glass of celery juice in the morning is starting a process that your liver has been waiting for. If this is already making sense to you, type the word liver in the comments right now. I want to know how many of you watching this never even knew your Sjogren's was affecting your liver. Number 2. What celery juice does to your inflammation. This is the one that connects most directly to the symptoms you feel every single day. Sjogren's is fundamentally an inflammatory disease. The dryness is caused by inflammation destroying your glands. The joint pain is caused by inflammatory infiltrates in your synovial tissue. The fatigue is driven by inflammatory cytokines circulating in your bloodstream and crossing into your brain. The brain fog is neuroinflammation. Almost every symptom you are managing traces back to the inflammatory cascade that your immune system is running continuously inside you. Celery juice works against this at multiple levels simultaneously. It contains a compound called apigenin, a plant flavonoid with well-documented anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and antibacterial properties. Research has demonstrated that apigenin can reduce the activity of specific inflammatory proteins while simultaneously supporting immune system regulation, which for Sjogren's patients is critically important because the problem is not just that inflammation is high. The problem is that the regulatory mechanisms that are supposed to bring inflammation back down have lost their calibration. Apigenin works on both sides of that equation. Celery also contains luteolin, another flavonoid that specifically targets inflammatory pathways in the gut and nervous system, both of which are commonly affected in Sjogren's. Beyond the flavonoids, celery delivers phytonutrients that improve cellular communication, reduce inflammatory signaling at the tissue level, and create a systemic internal environment where your immune system has less biochemical fuel to maintain the attack it is running against your own body. When you drink celery juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, these compounds absorb directly and reach your tissues without competing with food for absorption. You are essentially sending your immune system a de-escalation signal before any other trigger has had a chance to activate it. For people with Sjogren's who have tried everything and still start every day already inflamed, this morning signal matters more than you might realize. If inflammation is your biggest daily battle with Sjogren's, type the word fire in the comments. Let's see how many of us are dealing with this every single day. Number 3. What celery juice does to your hydration. You already know you are dehydrated. Every person with Sjogren's is chronically dehydrated in a way that goes beyond just not drinking enough fluids. Your lacrimal glands, which produce tears, have been damaged or are being actively destroyed by your own immune system. Your salivary glands have undergone the same attack. The glandular tissue that is supposed to keep your eyes lubricated, your mouth moist, your throat comfortable, your skin hydrated, and your digestive tract functioning properly has been compromised at the structural level. This means that no matter how much plain water you drink, there is a ceiling to how much hydration actually reaches your tissues, because the delivery infrastructure is broken. Celery juice breaks through that ceiling. Celery is 90% water, but it is not plain water. It carries potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium in a naturally bioavailable form that your cells can absorb and use at the tissue level without requiring intact glandular delivery systems to distribute it. These electrolytes allow the water in celery juice to actually penetrate at the cellular level and reach the mucous membranes, skin, joint surfaces, and nervous tissue that are suffering from the dryness Sjogren's causes. This is why people with Sjogren's who begin drinking celery juice every morning consistently report a reduction in the severity of their morning dryness within the first 1 to 2 weeks. Not a cure. The glandular damage does not reverse. But the level of dryness they experience decreases because their tissues are being hydrated from the inside in a way that plain water cannot achieve. Your mornings set the tone for your entire day when you have Sjogren's. Starting them with a drink that actually reaches your tissues changes how the rest of the day feels. If morning dryness is something you deal with every single day, type the word DIY in the comments. You are not alone in this. Number 4. What celery juice does to your blood. Sjogren's is not just a disease of the glands. It is a vascular disease in the sense that chronic systemic inflammation progressively damages blood vessel walls, reduces circulation efficiency, and creates a cardiovascular risk profile that many Sjogren's patients are never adequately warned about. Research has confirmed that people with Sjogren's syndrome have a significantly elevated risk of cardiovascular complications compared to the general population, driven by the ongoing vascular inflammation that accompanies chronic autoimmune activity. Celery juice addresses this through several mechanisms working simultaneously. It contains a compound called coumarin, which increases the functional activity of white blood cells, improves circulation, and supports healthy blood pressure regulation. It contains vitamins A and C, which are essential for maintaining the structural integrity of blood vessel walls and protecting vascular tissue from the oxidative damage that inflammatory conditions cause over time. It contains iron and magnesium, which are the building blocks for red blood cell production and function. Iron deficiency anemia is significantly more common in Sjogren's patients than in the general population, and it is responsible for a substantial portion of the crushing fatigue that Sjogren's patients experience, but often attribute entirely to the autoimmune disease itself. If your iron stores are low, your red blood cells cannot carry oxygen efficiently to your tissues, your brain, and your muscles, and everything feels harder, heavier, and more exhausting than it should. Regular celery juice consumption supports red blood cell health from the ground up. Research has also identified a compound in celery called phthalate that has been shown to reduce bad LDL cholesterol levels by 7% and reduce blood pressure by 18% in studied subjects. For a body that is already accumulating cardiovascular risk from years of systemic inflammation, those numbers represent a real and meaningful reduction in long-term danger. If you have ever been told your Sjogren's is affecting your blood or your heart health, type the word blood in the comments right now. Number 5. What celery juice does to your gut. This is one of the most underdiagnosed aspects of Sjogren's syndrome, and it is one that directly affects how every other treatment and intervention works in your body. Sjogren's attacks the gastrointestinal tract. It damages the mucous membranes lining the esophagus, stomach, and intestines. It reduces saliva production, which impairs the first stage of digestion and allows food to reach the stomach partially unprocessed. It dysregulates the gut immune environment, creating chronic low-grade intestinal inflammation that disrupts the gut microbiome, increases intestinal permeability, and produces a constant source of systemic inflammatory signaling that feeds back into your overall autoimmune activity. Most Sjogren's patients experience gastrointestinal symptoms including difficulty swallowing, acid reflux, nausea, bloating, constipation, and abdominal discomfort, and many have never been told these symptoms are connected to their Sjogren's diagnosis. Celery juice targets the gut specifically. It contains luteolin and PQQ, two compounds that have been shown to reduce inflammation specifically in the gut environment. Research conducted over a 12-week period demonstrated that the beneficial compounds in celery can create a significantly healthier gut bacteria environment, shifting the microbiome away from the dysbiotic state that chronic autoimmune inflammation produces. Celery also contains pectin-based polysaccharides and a compound called apigenin that have been shown to protect the stomach lining, reduce the risk of ulceration, and regulate stomach secretion levels, which directly addresses the acid reflux and gastric discomfort that Sjogren's patients experience. The combined fiber content, both soluble and insoluble, supports regular bowel function, reduces constipation, and maintains the intestinal transit speed that a healthy gut requires. When your gut heals, your overall inflammatory load decreases, your nutrient absorption improves, and the systemic inflammatory signaling that is feeding your Sjogren's symptoms begins to quiet down. Your gut and your immune system are in constant communication. Healing one is healing the other. If Sjogren's has been affecting your digestion and nobody told you it could, type the word GUT in the comments. This connection needs to be talked about more. Number 6. What celery juice does to your sleep. Sjogren's and sleep disruption are inseparable for most patients. The dryness makes sleeping uncomfortable. The pain and joint inflammation make finding a comfortable position difficult. The anxiety and nervous system dysregulation that accompany autoimmune disease make it hard to reach deep restorative sleep even when exhaustion is overwhelming. And underneath all of this is a nutritional deficiency that almost nobody is addressing: magnesium. Magnesium deficiency is extremely prevalent in people with chronic autoimmune conditions, and Sjogren's is no exception. When your magnesium levels are insufficient, your nervous system cannot downregulate properly at night. The neural activity that should quiet down as you approach sleep stays elevated. Your muscles remain in a state of low-level tension. Your stress response system stays partially activated. And you lie in bed utterly exhausted while your body physically cannot reach the deep sleep state it needs. The result is that you wake up more depleted than when you went to bed, and every single Sjogren's symptom you are managing, the pain, the fatigue, the brain fog, the sensitivity, is amplified for the entire following day. Celery juice is a natural and bioavailable source of magnesium. When you drink it consistently every morning, you are rebuilding your magnesium stores over time in a form your body can absorb and use without the digestive side effects that many magnesium supplements cause. As those stores rebuild, your nervous system begins to reach a calmer baseline. Muscle tension decreases at night. Neural hyperactivity quiets more readily. Sleep cycles begin to regulate. If you want to amplify this effect, Drink a second smaller glass of celery juice in the evening, approximately 1 hour before bed, mixed with a small amount of raw honey. The combination deepens the calming signal to your nervous system, and most people notice a meaningful difference in sleep depth and morning recovery within the first week of doing this consistently. If Sjogren's has been destroying your sleep and you want this to change, type the word sleep in the comments. Let me know this is hitting home for you. Number 7. What celery juice does to your skin. Sjogren's attacks the skin through multiple pathways simultaneously. The reduction in moisture-producing gland function causes chronic skin dryness that no topical moisturizer can fully address because the dryness is originating internally. The systemic inflammation drives skin sensitivity, redness, rash flares, and accelerated breakdown of collagen and elastin that produces premature skin aging. The oxidative stress generated by continuous immune activation damages skin cells at the DNA level, produces an uneven dull complexion, and triggers inflammatory skin responses including acne and periorbital discoloration around the eyes. Many Sjogren's patients look visibly older than their age and cannot understand why their skincare routine is not working. The answer is that no external product can fix an internal problem. Celery juice works from the inside out on every one of these mechanisms. It delivers vitamins A, B complex, C, and K directly into your system. Vitamin A supports cellular renewal and the regeneration of skin tissue. Vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, the process by which your skin maintains its structure, firmness, and elasticity. Vitamin K reduces periorbital discoloration and supports vascular integrity in the tiny capillaries that lie beneath your skin. The calcium, potassium, and selenium in celery support smooth and even skin texture at the cellular level. The antioxidants in celery juice, which include beta-carotene, flavonoids, and 12 additional antioxidant nutrients, actively neutralize the free radicals and oxidative byproducts that accumulate from chronic immune activity and show up on your face as dullness, uneven tone, and accelerated aging. Within 2 weeks of daily celery juice, most people with Sjogren's begin to notice their skin looking more hydrated, more even, and more alive. Not because celery juice is a cosmetic treatment, but because you have removed some of the internal inflammatory and oxidative pressure that was expressing itself on your skin every single day. If Sjogren's has been aging your skin and affecting how you look, type the word skin in the comments. You deserve to see this change. Number 8. What celery juice does to your bones. Bone loss is one of the most serious and least discussed long-term complications of Sjogren's syndrome. Sjogren's patients face elevated risk of osteoporosis through multiple converging pathways. The chronic systemic inflammation that defines this disease directly accelerates bone resorption, the process by which old bone tissue is broken down, while simultaneously impairing new bone formation. Many Sjogren's patients are treated with corticosteroids to manage flares, and long-term corticosteroid use is one of the most significant known causes of medication-induced bone density loss. Additionally, the malabsorption that results from gastrointestinal Sjogren's involvement means that even patients eating a calcium and vitamin D-rich diet may not be absorbing those nutrients effectively. The result is a slow, invisible, and progressive weakening of bone density that can go undetected for years until a fracture or a bone density scan reveals how advanced the loss has become. Celery juice provides direct bone protective nutrition through several compounds. It is a natural source of calcium and silicon, 2 minerals that are directly involved in the regeneration and structural reinforcement of bone tissue. Silicon in particular is increasingly recognized in bone health research as an essential cofactor in the formation of collagen within bone matrix, the framework that gives bone its resilience and resistance to fracture. Celery juice is also a rich natural source of vitamin K, which plays a documented and essential role in bone metabolism, specifically in activating the proteins that bind calcium into bone tissue and preventing the calcium loss that drives osteoporosis progression. Every morning you drink celery juice, you are making a small consistent deposit into a bone health account that Sjogren's is continuously trying to drain. If bone health is something you have been worried about with your Sjogren's, type the word bones in the comments. This is something we all need to be thinking about. Number 9. What celery juice does to your nervous system. Neurological involvement in Sjogren's is far more common than most patients are ever told. Research indicates that peripheral neuropathy, the damage to the nerves outside the brain and spinal cord, occurs in a significant percentage of Sjogren's patients, producing symptoms including numbness, tingling, burning sensations, and weakness in the hands, feet, and limbs. Central nervous system involvement, including cognitive impairment, memory difficulties, difficulty concentrating, and mood disturbances, is also a recognized manifestation of the disease. These neurological symptoms occur because the same inflammatory immune process that attacks your glands also attacks nerve tissue, either directly through inflammatory infiltrates into peripheral nerves or indirectly through the neuroinflammatory effects of inflammatory cytokines that circulate in the bloodstream and cross into the brain. Celery juice supports neurological health through its magnesium content, which is essential for healthy nerve conduction and the protection of the myelin sheaths that insulate nerve fibers. It delivers B vitamins that are critical for nerve repair and regeneration. The apigenin and luteolin in celery have been studied for their neuroprotective effects, specifically their ability to reduce neuroinflammation and protect neurons from the oxidative damage that chronic inflammatory conditions produce. The mineral salts in celery juice have a documented positive effect on nervous system regulation, reducing neural hyperactivity, supporting more stable nerve signal transmission, and creating the biochemical conditions in which nerve tissue can begin to repair itself. For Sjogren's patients experiencing neuropathy, brain fog, or cognitive difficulties, celery juice is not a cure for the underlying nerve damage. But it is delivering the exact nutritional support that a damaged and inflamed nervous system needs most consistently and efficiently. If Sjogren's has been affecting your brain, your nerves, or your memory, type the word brain in the comments. Neurological Sjogren's is real and it is not talked about enough. Number 10. What celery juice does to your mental health. This is the one that most people are surprised to see on this list, but it belongs here because the connection between Sjogren's and mental health is not just psychological. It is biological. Anxiety, depression, and mood instability are well-documented features of Sjogren's syndrome, and research has confirmed that they are not simply the emotional burden of living with a chronic illness, although that burden is real and significant. They are the direct neurological result of inflammatory cytokines, the same immune signaling molecules that are driving your physical symptoms, crossing the blood-brain barrier and disrupting the production and regulation of neurotransmitters including serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Cytokine-induced depression is a recognized biological phenomenon, and Sjogren's patients are living with it. Celery juice addresses the biological roots of this through several converging mechanisms. The magnesium supports the regulation of the HPA axis, the hormonal stress response system, reducing the baseline level of physiological stress your body is operating under. The apigenin modulates anxiety-related neural pathways and has been studied for its calming effects on the central nervous system. The flavonoids reduce the neuroinflammation that disrupts mood regulation. The mineral salts in celery juice directly support parasympathetic nervous system function, moving your body away from the chronic fight or flight activation that autoimmune disease produces and toward the calm regulated state where genuine rest and emotional stability become possible. People who drink celery juice consistently for 2 weeks report not just physical changes but a quieter baseline anxiety level, a slightly lighter mental state, and a reduced intensity of the emotional reactivity that chronic pain and chronic illness produce. When your nervous system is less inflamed, your mind has more room to breathe. If Sjogren's has been affecting your mental health and you have never connected it to the biology of the disease, type the word mind in the comments. You are not imagining it. It is real. Now here is what you need to understand about consistency. Every single benefit described in this video requires one thing above all else: daily commitment. Celery juice is not a medication with a therapeutic dose that stays in your system. The compounds it delivers, the apigenin, the coumarin, the PQQ, the magnesium, the flavonoids, work in your body for the duration of the day and then they need to be replenished the next morning. This is why the morning timing matters so much. You are not taking a supplement once a week. You are establishing a daily baseline of anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, liver supportive, gut healing, nervous system calming nutrition that your Sjogren's body is consuming and needing to be replenished continuously. The people who drink celery juice for 3 days and feel nothing are the same people who stop a week before the changes would have become noticeable. 2 weeks is the minimum window in which most Sjogren's patients begin to perceive a difference. 4 weeks is where the changes in skin, sleep, gut comfort, and inflammatory baseline become consistent and undeniable. 8 weeks is where the deeper changes, the liver function, the bone support, the vascular protection, the nervous system repair, have had enough time to accumulate in meaningful ways. You did not develop Sjogren's overnight. You are not going to reverse its effects overnight. But you can begin shifting the internal environment of your body starting tomorrow morning with one bunch of celery, a juicer, or a blender, and 15 minutes of empty stomach time before breakfast. If you are committing to trying celery juice every morning for the next 2 weeks, type the word yes in the comments right now. I want to see that commitment. Come back in 2 weeks and tell me what changed. One more thing before you go. Sjogren's is a complex systemic disease and celery juice is not a replacement for your medical treatment plan. Continue working with your doctor, continue your prescribed medications, and treat celery juice as the powerful daily nutritional support it is, something that works alongside your treatment to reduce your inflammatory load, support your organs, and give your body the best possible internal conditions to manage this disease. The goal is not to choose between medicine and nutrition. The goal is to use every tool that helps. If you want to understand the full picture of what Sjogren's is doing in your body, every symptom, every system, every connection that your doctors may not have explained to you, download the Sjogren's symptom map using the link in the description below. It maps every pathway of this disease in language you can actually use, understand, and bring to your next medical appointment. It is waiting for you. And it might be the most useful thing you download this year. The link is in the description.